And here we go. We have our next series, and spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have the blue Protoss player from South Korea representing KranKy Gaming. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the Canadian Protoss player representing Team Basilisk. It is Trigger. Beautiful. We are here in our PvPs, and fun fact, this is something unique to Trigger. It's really interesting, but Trigger on maps like Babylon, on maps like Altitude, Trigger actually doesn't go for gate expands. He doesn't go for the low ground gateway here, which is typically standard and commonplace in this matchup on these maps, which is why herO is going for it. herO is going for a gate expand, or at least he's setting up for a gate expand. But again, Trigger, if you're familiar with him, if you watch his games, he doesn't go for that almost ever. I don't know if this is a safety thing. Maybe he just wants the option to be aggressive and wants the option to be all in. As yeah, he does go for a 2-gate opener. There we go. 2-gate opener from Trigger. herO, I'm sure, is going to respect that and delay his own Nexus. We'll see. We'll see how greedy herO is going to be after scouting the opener of his opponent. As a pylon is thrown down, and herO likewise throws down his own Cybercore back at home, getting into a second gas as well, which of course can facilitate for a Stargate opener. Can allow for faster tech. As Trigger is sending out a second probe, and we see why. He's committing to an all-in. Proxy pylon in the center of the map. We can go for a proxy robo with this as well once Cybercore is done. Meanwhile, herO, is he still going to expand? Okay. Bold move, herO. He saw the 2-gate opener. He skips the Zealot. He goes for that faster Nexus and is going into a defensive sentry. With this, he can scout across the map, of course. He will have access to a force field as well here at the ramp. Meanwhile, the proxy gateway is thrown down. Okay, it is not a robo. It is a 3rd gateway. So Trigger is going to be aggressive here with his gateway units, but is he going to double down? We do have another pylon thrown down across the map. Let's go. Do have that other pylon. Meanwhile, shield battery is thrown down for an overcharge, for eventual overcharge when the Nexus finishes. And I was like, are we going to throw down a later proxy robo? No, it's going to be a 4-gate all-in. So 1 base, 4-gate all-in from Trigger. Just mass stalkers. And nothing but stalkers. As he's pushing his way forward. Meanwhile, Hallucination will confirm this. herO, he comes across one of the gateways, and then he comes across the 2nd gateway as well. Now he's fully aware of how all-in Trigger is, and it's going to be on herO to defend. He does have a robo here at the natural. The robo is exposed and it is prone to going down, but it also means that the Immortal comes out right in the middle of the battle. Very fast reinforcements from herO with that Immortal, as the first one is about to pop out. We have some sentries as well to force field the ramp. And he's going to be looking to cut up and slice up the army of Trigger. Here we go, Trigger. He does force his way up the ramp, and isn't going to quite commit yet. There's still 2 shield batteries. Good force field here from Trigger. Oh my god! Takes down the Immortal. A good start here from our Canadian Protoss player. He's focusing down that robo as well. He may force the overcharge. Robo does go down as well. Overcharge was not available. I'm really concerned now for herO. He's running out of units. He's running out of force fields. The boys have to be pulled. Finally, we have an overcharge, but what are we keeping alive? What is there left to keep alive? As Trigger, he's snowballing out of control. He takes down the Stalker, takes down the Sentry. And this may just be too much. The production is under fire. We don't have anything else left here in the main base. The boys, they have to be pulled. But even with the boys, it may just not be enough. As herO, he's down to 1 Sentry and 1 Stalker. He's warping in 1 unit at a time. And Trigger is snowballing out of control. This is just too much damage. Too much, too quickly. As 17 probes go down, and Trigger is going up into the natural. He's already done a critical amount of damage. And there's just nothing that herO can do. GG gets called. Trigger takes game number 1. Oh my god. GG, well played. One misstep is sometimes all it takes, and the force field to pin in that Immortal. That was clutch from Trigger. Shutting down the Immortal, snowballing out of control. Very well done. GG. Trigger takes a lead in this series, and he is one game away from 2-0ing herO, from eliminating herO from the tournament. And again, PvPs, you know, this can happen. There's a lot that came into play here, right? Remember, herO, he scouted the 2-gate opener, and he didn't respect it. He, you know, decided to expand regardless and to try to meet the all-in head-on. He scouted it ahead of time. It looked like he maybe chronoed. I was shocked to see that there wasn't enough energy for an overcharge when the Immortal was being pounced upon. Again, maybe he was just being a little bit too cavalier with it. Imagine a world where he didn't lose that first Immortal. Maybe he defends, maybe he holds, right? Like, I'm sure he would have had a much easier time regardless. So, really well done by the Red Protoss, by Trigger, to be able to find the opportunity to take advantage of his opponent and to take a lead in this series. Really well done. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing Dragon Kaizi Gaming. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, one game away from taking the entire series and eliminating his opponent, we have the Canadian Protoss player representing Team Basilisk. It is Trigger. And I spoke about this earlier, whether it's a map like Babylon or whether it's a map like Dragon Scales or Altitude, even with these ramps at the natural, Trigger doesn't go for gate expands. He does go for this gateway on the high ground once again, and this is very unique and very stylistic of Trigger. And it looks like herO is respecting that. You know, here, after being done dirty in game 1, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to go for a safe opener, and he goes for a 2-gate opener here on the high ground, and Trigger will confirm this. He will confirm the 2 gateways. Trigger likewise going for his own 2 gates as well. One of them a little bit later than herO's. But yeah, we're going to be seeing a very different dynamic here in game number 2. Mirrored openers from our players. And as a result, herO, he won't be forced to be the defender. And that was something that was working against herO. herO, he's aggressive by nature. He is so micro-intensive, and just every fiber of his being wants to be in your face. So for him to go for a 2-gate opener, for him to throw down a proxy pylon here in the center of the map, I do think that herO wants to be the aggressor. He wants to be in the driver's seat. He wants to be in control. And we'll see what he brings to the table. Interesting. It's going to be a Stalker Adept opener here from herO. With this, he can send out a unit across the map, and there it is, Proxy Robo. Oh my god. We're going all in. Oh, well, we have options. We have options with this Robo. We can start Immortal production. We can go for a, oh my god, we can go for a Prism first. Meanwhile, Trigger reading this so well, confirming the lack of expansion, he goes for a defensive Robo of his own, which means he has access to his own defensive Immortals and his own War Prism as well. Again, Robo openers like this are very defensive. They typically are correlating with assuming that your opponent is all-inning you. 3rd gateway is thrown down. A Trigger, he's staying on one base again. Reading this very well. He's setting out his units across the map. He's trying to look for the proxy, trying to look for where that building is, or even what building it is. herO, he is going to be cranking out Immortals. And is the Adept going to lead a Trigger here to this proxy location? Adept, is going to go down, and Trigger does not go off the ramp. He doesn't check. Does not check. Instead, herO is going to catch these Stalkers. He gets a volley off, and he may even be able to pick one off. Up. And he should barely be able to. He will get the Stalker in the end. A big pick off here for herO. Gets a Stalker, is moving out. Immortal has arrived. Meanwhile, Trigger, he went for a Prism first. Uh-oh. The Immortal does reveal itself, and we should be seeing a defensive Immortal from Trigger as well. He's warping in a Sentry for force fields. Meanwhile, he has found the pylon. He knows, he is aware. herO not yet expanding. He is thinking about it. As Trigger is setting up a proxy location of his own. Moving out across them. It looks like herO is looking to expand, and Trigger may be able to take advantage of that. As herO is setting everything back here, and he's going to catch another Stalker. Big pickup. But 2 Adepts, 2 lone Adepts are going to be... sorry, 3 Adepts make their way into the main base. We do have some Stalkers in position, though. Oh, Prism is going to take a lot of hits. If these Adepts get into the mineral line, then we are going to be losing so many probes. herO has to respect it. Meanwhile, across the map, a big force field as well. Oh, this may just be too much, as herO, he's catching a lot of Stalkers for free. These Immortals are going ham. Yeah, the Prism is across the map. Stalkers are falling, and it looks like herO should be able to bust his way into the main base. Good force field, but that's what the Prism is for, as herO, he juggles his Immortals back. Across the map, these Adepts, they need to make something happen here, but we have a full wall off. Adepts, they cannot shade in. And Trigger is being bullied back into his own main base. Gateways are depowered. Only 1 gateway is left. And the boys have to be pulled. Yeah, with good enough juggling, I don't see herO losing anything. GG gets called, and herO ties up the series 1-1. Pulling off the 1 base all-in. Oh, GG. We have a series. We have an ace match. And really... that's always what I want. That's always what I want. Give us a game number 3. herO again able to pull off the 1 base all in. Trigger maybe kind of misinterpreting kind of the situation that he was in, setting his Prism across the maps, warping the Adepts across the map as well. That was a big blow to his own defensive play. That was a big blow to how well he could perform back at home, and in the end he was left vulnerable. He did go down. And I do think a lot of this is going to come down to the map, because where are we going to land here? So far, the first 2 maps have been ramp maps at the natural, and I'm sure Trigger was hoping that once again herO would go for a gate expand. But herO did not take the bait, and he showed us that he is more than willing to go all in against Trigger. He's looking good doing it as well. So now we're moving on into game number 3. It's going to be on Gressvan. A much larger map here for these 2 players. One of the largest in the map pool, and a map that is known for on-base all-ins. And here we go, spawning in the top left-hand... oh my god. There we go. My mistake. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Gressvan, we have the South Korean Protoss player representing KranKy Gaming. It is herO. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the Canadian Protoss representing Team Basilisk. It is Trigger. Now, we should be seeing 2 gate openers, which is pretty standard on Gressvan, but what else is standard is 1 base all-ins. The reason why I say that is because there are many locations to proxy here behind the rocks, behind the steam vents, even here in these center base locations where the mineral patches are. There are a lot of locations where proxy robos or proxy gateways are very prominent and very prevalent on Gressvan. Are we going to see that here? Trigger, he's going for a fast second gas, so he can go for some faster tech. herO not too far behind him. Only by a couple of seconds. 2 gate openers are coming out, and yeah, we are going to be getting into this. My eyes are on this probe. Where are we going, Trigger? What is the plan? Are we just scouting, or are we actually going to commit here to some kind of proxy? As this probe is looking a little bit sus, and oh, based on this location, it could be a Stargate. It is really far away from a proxy Stargate, I will say that. We have seen proxy Stargates in this location before, but the other thing it could be is a proxy Twilight Council with DTs. Dark Templar are a possibility here for Trigger. Are we going to go for the Twilight Council or the Stargate? Show us what you got. Cybercore is done, and we do go for the Stargate in the end. Okay. We're not being too crazy with those Dark Templar. Just go for the Stargate. Again, this is technically closer to your opponent's base than your own. So it is going to get there a little bit faster. Still a little bit far back though. So we should be working towards oracles, and the oracles are going to make a beeline into the mineral line, looking for some economic damage. This is not all in. I should also preface that. This is just a way to get ahead economically, and a way to expand and get into a later game. This is designed to catch herO with his pants down. Ooh, meanwhile, herO is doubling down on the aggression. He goes for a third gateway and a robo. This is looking like another one base all in. I am concerned for Trigger because this Oracle isn't really going to help too much defensively. We'll see. If Trigger is able to cripple the economy, then he's going to be in a good position. It's going to be a big if, though. Meanwhile, 3 Stalkers are out, so the first Adept is going to get shut down without seeing much at all. I am worried for Trigger, as the Stalkers are going to be moving out. So far, Trigger is holding. He has additional Stalkers on the way. There is nothing at home to defend. herO, he is being active with his army. As the Stalkers move out, the Oracle moves in. Okay, herO, he does have 2 Stalkers back at home. He can deal with this. At the same time, he's pushing his way into the main. And it looks like herO has too much. Shield battery is not done. herO, he is breaking into the main base. Meanwhile, he only loses 2 probes at home. And it looks like here in this game of rock, paper, scissors with a proxy Stargate of all things, herO, he is going to be able to bust through. I say that, we do have another warp in. Trigger, he's holding. He does hold onto that pylon just barely. Shield battery is done. Overcharge is available. And an Immortal is on the way. Now, herO, what is he going to be doubling down here? He does have a... Yeah, he is. He has a prism across the map. He's going to be warping in. He is forced to keep some Stalkers at home, so that is a benefit here of this... of this Oracle. It is keeping a little bit of supply here at home. But herO, he is up to 11 Stalkers. 9 Stalkers across the map. It's an overwhelming army. He depowers one of the gateways as well. Now we do have a defensive Immortal. Trigger, he is holding for the time being, but we get another warp in, and if the wall is not sealed up, the Adepts are going to make their way into the mineral line. Across the map, a couple more probes are going to be going down. The Adepts, they will commit to the shade. Trigger, he's trying to rebuild that gateway. There we go, second gateway is done, but herO, he's still warping in 3 units at a time. He still has a comparable economy to his opponent. That's interesting. So herO, he's only going to be harassing here with these Stalkers. He's moving back home with everything else. He's looking to potentially expand. Stalkers do dive in. They're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4 probes. They get a 5th probe towards the end, crippling the economy here of Trigger. At the same time, herO still on 1 base. He's going for a Twilight Council, getting into Immortal production. He is still not expanding. And Trigger is sending his army out on the map. I'm not too sure how I feel about this, I'll be honest. Bold move. Looking at the unit stab. Okay, so Trigger, he is even when it comes to the Immortal count. The Sentry! Oh, God. Trigger, he's even in Immortals. He's slightly behind in Stalkers. Bearing in mind that he's also forced to keep some Stalkers back at home. He's going to be moving out, but again, he's going to be finding a lack. Oh, no, the Prism! No! Prism goes out with 2 Immortals. Is that game? I think that's game. We do have sentries. It's going to be buying some time, but that was a big loss here for herO. He's trying to leapfrog forward here with his army, trying to elevate her up into the main. He has to be very careful here with his army, with his control. But Stalkers are going down. And herO, Just one mistake too many. Sometimes one blunder is all it takes, and here he's trying to buy time. He's trying to drag the army back. But Trigger, he makes his way into the main base. Pylons are falling. I can't believe it. The stars had to align, and for Trigger to catch that prism was insane. The boys are being pulled. Good juggling. The Immortal does stay alive. Prism is taking a lot of hits, but the Immortals will make it out. And it looks like Trigger has done it. GG gets called. Trigger takes the series 2-1, eliminating herO. GG. Oh my god. Feels bad, man. One mistake is all it takes, and herO losing those Immortals. That was the biggest mistake he could have made. That was huge. GG, well played. Up until that point, herO, he had the army supply lead. Like, he was ahead. He was ahead in workers. He was ahead in production. He had a larger army, especially considering that Trigger was forced to keep some stalkers back at home. And GG. GG, well played. Oh my god. Congratulations. Congratulations to Trigger. Sorry, I had the wrong thing on. Congratulations to Trigger for taking the series 2-1 and advancing on into the next round. Very impressive result. Very well done. Congratulations. Congratulations to Trigger. My condolences. My condolences to herO. You know, he did well here. It was a very chaotic PvP, and that's typically how PvPs go with herO, so as to be expected. Very chaotic, but alas, Trigger was able to find himself in the chaos and was able to take the series in the end. So congratulations to Trigger. My condolences to herO. He is eliminated from the tournament. There is no lower bracket. There is no second chance. It's one and done.